are you? Thank you so much for joining us today.
I am good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So tell everyone who's watching a little bit about yourself to start.
So I'm a fashion stylist. I work with a lot of celebrities now, but I came up in like an editorial world. I trained with Corinne Reutfeld for 5 years, who's the former editor-in-chief of Vogue Paris. And then she started a CR fashion book, which is where I kind of like got all my bearings and learned everything, which was like a really, really great time in my life and a really great like lesson in the industry. And then after COVID, I just started working with celebs a lot, and I left CR, and that's kind of been the vibe ever since.
Amazing. So you're in your celebrity stylist bag.
Yeah, for better or for worse.
No, I love that. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about your time at CR and sort of how that informed your entrance into the fashion world, and how did the transition from editor to stylist happen for you?
Yeah, I don't know actually. I think like when I moved here, I kind of had no idea about anything. I went to Parsons and I had no real intention of graduating, to be honest. I just wanted to have a reason to move here. And so I started interning for, I had no idea what a stylist was or what a stylist did. I knew what like who Grace Coddington was and like big time editors like that. I didn't understand like what a day-to-day job for a stylist looked like or that it was a real job even. Um, and so found an internship on Craigslist for this stylist, Gus Romero. And he kind of taught me like all the basics, like all the ins and outs of being on set and like working with other people and all of that. And then I really had like a hunger for this like high fashion editorial world. So I made my way to V Magazine and that was great. I interned there for 6 months. And then from there, at the time, V and CR were like sister magazines. So then I jumped to CR Fashion Book, and I just took really well there. I took to the team really well. And after about 6 months there, they offered me a job, and I dropped out. And yeah, I never looked back. And then, so yeah, I come from this sort of very intellectually driven kind of like focusing on the narrative of an image and like concepts like that world. And it has been a little odd to like translate those skill sets into styling celebrities because they have such a different knowledge of fashion and a different like understanding of everything kind of, because their focus is music and then the visuals are just like tools to help deliver that message. But it is an odd kind of translation from working with like 60-year-olds who've been doing this for 40 years, who know all the ins and outs and like all these like incredible photographers to like 20-year-olds who, see things on Pinterest or Tumblr and like are being like, I like this and kind of trying to make them understand the essence of a look or of a design house or the history of a garment and like what it means and like the implications of that and all that. So it definitely helps having this background, but I do think it is a little bit like being a Rosetta Stone of like helping somebody who doesn't have a vast knowledge of fashion understand and like to their benefit, like what fashion can do for them and how the fashion community can uplift somebody even further than just like what their vocal abilities or stage presence is. Creating like a visual language that way is kind of how I see my editor background helping with my celebrity styling background.
Totally. I mean, I can't think of a better natural progression, really. But styling wasn't really the end game then. What did you study in school?
It's communication design, which is basically like graphic design, which is like, nothing. I mean, it's something. I had a great time at Parsons. I really enjoyed it, but I know how to use Photoshop and InDesign, and those are useful tools. So,
For mood
um,
boarding, yes, very
yeah,
important. Can you walk me through your process when building a look? I always find this so fascinating with stylists. Like, do you start with a mood board or a designer pool or an emotion? Like what does it start with?
Yeah, I think it depends on like what we're trying to accomplish. Like, what's the goal? Is it a music video? Is it a red carpet look? Is it just like a cute Instagram post? I think like for music videos, those are a lot more thoughtful and a lot more, I mean, planned in quotes, just because nowadays it's like you have 3 days to put together a music video. Um, I think I start with like understanding the story they're trying to tell and then using that context in my world of knowledge and being like, oh, this look or this archive piece like actually makes perfect sense because from this show, like blah blah blah, and like it was all water based or whatever, and so this is gonna be perfect for this like wet look that we're trying to do. You know what I mean? Like thinking of things like that. Or, it's very rare that I like see a runway look, like current day, and I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Like I have to shoot that because I think the way I approach styling is very like mix and match and like moving things around, and I very rarely do like full total looks because I just feel like there's no personality in that. Um, and I think a lot of it is really instinctual. Like I just like pull stuff that I really like that I think will work. And maybe it's totally wrong and maybe it's never even like tried on, but I think just having the pieces that create another layer of interest in whatever project we're doing is kind of like what I'm there to do. And hopefully that layer of interest can be like a huge shining star in the project that only helps elevate everything and like further to expand the story. So I think it's in that world where I try to just figure out what we're trying to do and then make it even better and expand on it even more.
Right, okay. Do you feel like are there any fabrics or textures you're always drawn to as a stylist? Like signatures that feel Ron even when you're channeling someone else's vibe, an artist's moment, or whatever they're doing.
Not really, to be honest. There's not like a fabric where I'm like, oh, I love taffeta or I love crepe de chine. Like it just depends, like on what the context of what we're trying to do is. It's really more just about like a feeling. I think like the thing I learned the most from working at CR with Kareen for so long is you really want everyone to feel like they're most comfortable, even if they're wearing like a crazy outfit where like, their tits are out or something, or like they're completely naked, but you always want them to feel like they're wearing a t-shirt. I think that's always the goal to make somebody feel like the most at ease because when they believe in it, then everyone else will believe in it. And it's just kind of like a chain reaction that needs to happen. So making them feel like confident in whatever it is, whether it be like jeans or like a couture look, is always kind of the goal.
Okay, amazing. It's always so funny because I think that people don't really. I mean, it's not that I don't think that I know that people don't know what it takes to be a stylist. As someone who, lived in New York for 10 years and was a stylist assistant for Pat Field, I worked at her store for a year and a half
Wow.
when I was in college.
To
Oh
be
yeah.
those stories, yeah.
Oh my God. I'll tell you another time off camera.
Okay.
But it was a great time. And then I also worked with different stylists here and there, freelancing, working at different. I interned at BPCM, and all these people have no clue what goes into any of this stuff.
Yeah.
So, what are the unseen parts of styling that you wish more people sort of knew about? Like, what does a day look like in the life of a stylist?
Think everyone glamorizes it to like the nth degree when it's the most like you're schlepping, you're sweating, you're hurting your back carrying trunks, you're carrying like pounds and pounds of hundreds of pounds of clothes across the world at all times. Like it is not cool, like to be a stylist. Like the 5 minutes when they're on the carpet or the video is happening or whatever, or the photo shoot comes out is the cool part, but getting to that point is really, really, really like physically taxing and mentally taxing. Like to get all those clothes, they don't just like appear. You have to email like dozens, if not hundreds of people to like source things in all different parts of the world, while physically going into places to pull, like going into vintage places to get archive pieces or uh, coordinating with vintage dealers who are always crazy and insane because they're like crazy cat ladies, but their cats are their clothes. Just that there's so many like mental gymnastics on top of the physical stuff of like having to do pickups, having to check things in, having to put things on hangers. It sounds mundane and easy, but it's like it's very, very overwhelming when like you have everything in front of you. It's a physically really taxing job that is not for the weak. And I think a lot of the younger generation that are trying to get into work today really have no idea about that and like have no idea about like how late you have to work sometimes, the long hours, the crazy hours, like working until like 6 a.m. sometimes. Like obviously it's like, you know, there's so many different like regulations and like checks and balances. It is sort of this world of like there's no rules and you have to kind of do anything to like get the shot or get the thing that makes the thing special, makes the project special, and uh it requires a lot of tenacity and a lot of dexterity in your to adapt and to go with the flow in a way that is beneficial for everybody, not just you, not just for you to survive, but for you to get your job done well. Like you have to be able to pivot. So it's tough. Everyone should know that.
Totally. How much of your job do you feel like is intuition versus logistics?
I think everything leading up to the fitting is logistics. So I would say maybe like 80%. And then everything from the fitting onwards is intuition. Like I used to I used to kind of just wing it, honestly, with my shoots. I wouldn't do any. Now I do fittings on like a friend or a fit model beforehand, before I see the talent or before I do the shoot or whatever. But I used to just kind of show up and be like, let's just like vibe out and see what happens, you know? And once you start working with talent and there's PRs and all this stuff, like you realize like that's not gonna fly. But um, a lot of it is just a feeling because like you can't properly, even with like AI or mocking things up, you can't imagine like how that dress is gonna look on somebody until it's on them, you know?
No, I completely agree. I want to ask you about that later about the AI, but
Okay.
that's a whole other topic for sure. Um, what is what are some things that you always have in your kit that you would suggest to other people to always have for a styling emergency? I
Yeah,
want to know this just for myself. I'm
for
always
yourself.
fascinated by
Yeah.
this stuff.
Safety pins, you gotta have good safety pins. If you're in New York, um, Manhattan Wardrobe Supply, they have the best safety pins. They're like a steel, so they don't break. They don't. I hate when tailors have really flimsy pins and they can't put it through the garment. I think that's like my biggest pet peeve. Um, so
Good to
really strong
know.
safety pins, and then nipple covers for girls, just because you never know. And there's good nipple covers that are not so like salami vibes, you know, like that are
Yeah.
that are more discreet. I think those are always good to have. Always gotta have underwear. A lot of these girls are not wearing underwear like ever, and so you really have to have underwear ready. And you know, I mean, my kit is stocked, so anything you can imagine, like shoe kit, there's insoles, there's heel grips, there's sole pads so that you don't slip on stage, there's heel taps, knee pads for choreo, tights, fishnets, dancing tights, yeah, you name it. And then like bandos, if you like need to do a shot where you can't see anything, it's just skin. They have to give the illusion of being naked or something, or just like simple bras, because you always need a bra for something. Underwear really is kind of just like a foundational tool that you can build off of. Like bras are great to pin things on to like create looks from that and stuff. So it's always good to have things like that. And what else? Oh, actually, the thing I use the most probably is a hole puncher. Like for belts or for shoe, to adjust, but depending on like the waist size or the ankle size, like that is a life-saving thing. Like say the shoe physically fits, but the ankle strap doesn't fit, you know, you're just flopping around. So yeah, that's always good to have.
Oh, fascinating. Okay, well, I have some new things to procure for my non-existent kit.
Yeah.
Although I feel like as I'm getting older, I feel like I always have like stuff for emergencies. Like I always carry around like blotting strips and like a hand fan and a and an extra
Yeah.
bag. It just happens as you get older. But yeah.
Comes with the
Have you?
territory.
It comes with the territory, exactly. Um, can you tell me about a time when a look almost didn't happen? Like you had a true fashion MacGyver moment, something with travel,
Um,
miscommunication.
yeah, I think, and this isn't actually my doing. This is my main assistant, Ashley, who is she's my best friend. She's like my soulmate.
Hi, Ashley.
We, hi, Ashley. Um, we were doing Anita for the VMAs. It was my first VMAs, actually, and she wore this crazy Schiaparelli look with like this heart piece, and it sat on her chest, and it was held together by like a beaded string with like a clasp. And so she wore it for the carpet. We changed for performance, and we had like 5 minutes to change back so that she could get seated for her category that she was nominated in. And so it was a huge rush. It's dark. You're like literally on the side of a stage in like a small little room. Like it's not glamour chic. And so you're kind of like dressing her in the dark. And so the strap, the beads come off somehow, like it breaks of the heart harness thing. And Ashley was smart enough to, I don't know, she like doubled up, she like made a knot and doubled it so that the beads would stop falling off and that it would close. I don't even know if she did it actually. I can't even remember, but she did something so like instinctual and quick. And she got on stage and won an award, so and no one knew the wiser. But yeah, that thing broke like right before she got on stage.
Oh my God, the power of a good assistant.
Yeah, literally. That is, yeah, that's another thing people should know. Like, you cannot do this job by yourself. You need to have a team, even if it's just one person. Like, it is physically and mentally impossible to do any of this alone because you'll go crazy.
Totally. How long have you been working with your assistants or your team?
I've been with Ashley for almost 3 years now. We met during COVID and kind of like have stuck together ever since. And she actually has thankfully moved to New York since I met her in LA during COVID. And we just kept working together because I was always out there for like COVID shoots as working as a local. And we just stuck together ever since. And yeah, it's been like 3 years. So like she can read my mind. She knows everything. She knows where all the bombs are, where all the skeletons are. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll have to have her on next and have the opposite side of the story.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
Have you ever had a client suggest a look or idea that completely surprised you? Like, is it better to have a client who is more fashion knowledgeable and comes with like, oh, I love this look from this collection. Can we get these? Or someone who you can kind of project onto, or like some sort of meet in the middle?
With Anita, she really was somebody I could just project onto, and she just fully trusted and was like, whatever you think is the craziest thing, let's do it. And so that was really liberating in terms of like, I didn't have to overthink anything and everything was instinctual. I was like, this is cool. What do you think? She's like, let's fucking do it. That's cool as shit. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like that was kind of the vibe. And then with Sabrina, who's much more meticulous, much more planned, much more like storyboarded. That was also fun because having constraints can sometimes make things really, it's like a game, you know? And I think that's where my editorial experience comes in because you have like a list of advertisers you need to shoot, and sometimes these advertisers' clothes look like shit, but you have to style it in a way that makes it interesting and cool. And so having these constraints, or like, okay, I have to wear a blue pant in this scene, that makes it fun to find like, okay, we have to find the best blue pant in the world, you know? Um, so with Sabrina, it was a lot more like coordinated, but there was a level of creativity within that world that was fun to, push the boundaries in. There's a world that needs to be understood for you to kind of uh, move forward with, like as an artist. So when that world is not defined, it can either be really liberating, like Anita, or it can be really uh, difficult and like I don't want to say detrimental, but just like it, not have the ease that one would want when creating something that should feel easy or should feel like careless and like not too planned out. And I think so I've had every kind of flavor of that. And I think I personally would somewhere in the middle of all those things. I think somewhere in the middle of like Sabrina and Anita, where it's like someone who I can project on, but who also has something they're trying to say that I can help elevate the story and help understand the mechanics of that world they're trying to build using my information and knowledge and skill set to create something new and different and exciting and unexpected that wasn't on anyone's mood board to begin with,
Yeah.
is the ideal.
Oh, that's fascinating. How do you how do you handle moments when a look doesn't land? Whether that's like online or in person or in press. I mean, I'm sure that it's so difficult to with social
Yeah.
media to see maybe a look that you styled, maybe being dragged or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, I try to stay off of it, honestly. I really I think to my detriment, I'm really not super active on social media and I'm not like very vocal on there just because even with CR, whenever I think the reason I actually slid so easily into the celeb world is at CR they would always give me the celebrity shoots because they thought I handled them really well. And I do. I have like a certain kind of I don't know, calming nature about me, or just like there's a certain reassurance that I give celebrities when I work with them that makes them feel like I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to make them look bad. Um, even then, when I was like a little baby editor, a little baby stylist, like I'd be doing these celeb shoots and get like torn up for all this shit, and it would like really mess with my head. And I was like, I was just having fun. I was just doing something different. Like it's not that serious, but like people get so upset about like the littlest things. Um, and more so when it's like a very specific fan base. So it's I try to just not look, to be honest, and I try to just like really remove myself from the conversation because people feel so entitled to like say whatever they want and have no idea like how we got there or you know I'm going to be the person to blame because they think I physically put everything on their body and I physically made every decision that is like the reason why it looks like that. But I could have not been on the carpet. They could have added tights last minute. They could have, ripped something and I wasn't present because there was no budget to fly me there. You know what I mean? Like all these different things that could have happened that the blame will get sent to me. So I really just try to like avoid all of it because it's so, I don't know. I really envy people that don't have social media. Like huge actors that don't have social media, I think is like the coolest thing. I just like
Oh,
I
it's
don't I
so
just want to
cool.
focus I just want to focus on my art and like do my job well and not let all these voices like poison my brain.
No, I totally get that. I mean, oh God, I wish I could be an actor on social media. I've not reached that level by any means yet. You
Yeah.
still have to hustle, have to
Yeah.
diversify. But yeah, the stands can be
Stands are
scary.
rough. The stands are scary. Yeah, it's definitely like you feel so not violated isn't the word, but just like you feel like you're offending them so deeply when it's like your thing, your diva hired me for my expertise. You know what I mean? So like for you to not trust me is kind of like you don't trust her, and that's on you, kind of essentially.
Ooh, you heard that, guys? That is a word. Okay. How do you balance trends versus timelessness, especially with performers whose looks are so visibly online?
Yeah, I think that's something that's also difficult for me. I think just full transparency, I think there's a huge difference between like New York stylists and LA stylists. And I think a lot of LA stylists tend to be very trendy and tend to really follow like whatever is cool on the runways or in street style or whatever Vogue's writing about or whatever they see like working for another artist. I feel like there's a lot of like snake eating its own head in LA. Um, and I've never been a part of that kind of situation. I've always tried, like for me, my dream outfit is always like a slip dress, a nasty little heel, and like a blowout. You know what I mean? Like I want it to be so simple, so nothing, so classic that I really think like good styling should be the most basic, simple things because the vessel that it's on is the thing that makes it so special. Like Beyonce in Crazy in Love in a tank top and jean shorts is like, you know what I mean? Like
So
we'll remember that
iconic. Yeah.
forever because the vessel was so like oh. So for
Yeah.
me, styling is about like a harmonious simplicity. But I think nowadays with all of the things that you see online and everyone having information on everything just because of their access to the internet. Like it's really difficult to maintain that simplicity in the same way today. And there's always going to be like, oh, I like this. Like this is something that I thought was cool. And I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't really make sense with what you're doing right now, but maybe we can find a way to incorporate it using something else or something. I don't know. Um, so I actually have a really hard time with trends. I have a really difficult time. Like if somebody's doing something and a client wants to emulate that, I almost always don't want to do that because I'm like, let's just stay in our own lane. Let's just do our own thing. And even if it's boring, like in the grand scheme of things, when somebody does like a retrospective of your looks, like 100 of your looks, and all together it creates this like beautiful world that is like not just about this one moment.
Um, so I want to talk about travel because that's an important part of this of my channel.
Uh-huh.
What role does travel play into your styling sensibility, and are there places that you feel like have shaped your visual language?
Yeah, I think, well, you're constantly traveling when you are following a pop star because they are constantly like doing press and having all these different moments, media moments across the world. So, like this year alone, I have not been home for more than 50% of the year so far, just because of my work. And so it can be a cool and a bad thing. Like it's amazing to see the world. It's amazing to see all these different places and like be able to broaden your horizon. Like I can say I've been to every continent except Antarctica at this point in my life, which is great, you know, but I am also I think Celine Dion said something actually. She's like, she's been to every single place in the world and she's never seen any of it. You know what I mean? Like, you really, unless like you are building in that time for rest in somewhere, you are never really spending too much time like sightseeing and like taking in the environment. But on the rare occasions that you do, it is really fun to just be like, oh my God, we're in Rome. Oh my God, we are in Japan. You know, like, wow, we are in Brazil. That's so crazy. Um, so it's taxing and it's exhausting and it's like insane to be bringing all this wardrobe all around the world, but there is a silver lining sometimes where it's like, oh wow, I get to tell my kids like in 30 years or whatever, this is what I did. Um, in terms of places that have inspired me, I think I'm really inspired like by Japan. I spent like a week and a half there once, and I'm dying to go back for work, and it was just like such a I don't know, the energy was just so inspiring, and it's like I can't even specifically say one thing that like made a lasting impression. It's just like the way of living there and this like harmony between nature and civilization and like city and like mountains. It's I don't know. It was just like a very special place that I will always think about when I'm working kind of. And just having that balance of like not being so not cyborg, but like, you know, not being so like internet driven, not being so focused on like making the internet happy and focusing more on like making yourself happy. And because I think you just have to always kind of like go back to that inner child and just do them justice. And then I think that like radiates and like the message gets across even more like powerfully that way.
No, I completely agree. Did you play dress up as a kid? Were you a big dress up queen?
Yeah, I think I remember trying on a pair of my mom heels when I was really little, and then everyone thought it was so cute, but I got so embarrassed. I'll always remember that. It's like one of my first memories as like a human being alive. I like put on a pair of her red pumps, and everyone was like laughing, but in like a cute way, you know what I mean? But I got so embarrassed. Um, and then my grandma would always ask me for like what I thought about outfits and stuff, and like I think she obviously knew something that everyone else didn't, which was fun in retrospect.
Grandmas always know.
Grandmas always know, moms always know. And then yeah, in high school, I considered myself straight until college, honestly. And so I was dating girls, but I was like dressing them up. You know what I mean? I was like picking out their outfits and doing all these things that obviously a normal straight boyfriend would not be doing unless you're like Kanye West, RIP. But
Wow, that's fascinating. I did not know that. A late in
yeah,
life bloomer, but you
yeah.
made it. You made it.
I made it, yeah.
Now that we've kind of moved on to the conversation, I do want to talk to you more about AI and the future of styling.
Yeah.
Because obviously you've been in this game for a while now, you know, editor and then stylist. Um, how have you seen the styling world shift with the rise of social media, AI, and celebrity culture, do you think?
Yeah, in a negative way, I think overall. I think like less is more. I think we don't need I don't think we need the doubles. I think that takes away the whole essence of being on set and of being a model and like collaborating. I think like all of the iconic things that everyone's obsessed with from the 90s and like before in the 2000s was like from collaboration, from like happy accidents, from like being together as a team and making something that is incredible that people can reference forever. And now just doing a carbon copy of that thing is where no magic is. You know, there's no spark there. It's just like, okay, great, you copied that shoot. All right, you did the exact same hair and makeup as the other thing. You know, like I do think like to our detriment, like AI and technology, even if it's been helpful with some circumstances, like helping with like fashion GPS and like sample trafficking and all of that stuff, I don't think it's been beneficial in the long run with like creating good fashion, creating good moments in fashion that have staying power and have like true human heart. I think fashion is such a vessel for expression and creativity, and when you take out the instinctive nature of collaboration, you lose all of that. It just is non-existent. So I really am hoping there's like a world where we can find the balance between technology and human experience, so that we don't lose the magic of what's possible. I do think there's a way to go about it that hopefully we can like troubleshoot the more time goes on. It's like the balance of like, okay, this can benefit our logistical side or whatever needs to be done in this capacity that can be done really quickly using AI. But there's a human element no matter what that has to happen. You know, like you can't generate fake images and fake campaigns all the time and have the same effect that, you know, fitting Kate Moss and Calvin Klein jeans would have. You know, like I think it's a really dangerous thing, but I am hoping that there's a fine line because I just can't imagine, you know, what is the point of anything if it's all just AI and all like, you know, not tangible. Like you want to put the dress on and feel how amazing that feels, you know, you want to see it in motion, like in real life in front of your eyes. Like there has to be some kind of like tangible element that remains for it to feel moving and like emotional.
Totally. Would do you think that in the future, near future, far future, I don't know, probably near future, like AI would be implemented into any aspect of your styling? Maybe it comes to like organization or what, how would it benefit you?
I think the only thing I could see it really benefiting me is like maybe mock-ups, but even then, like I hate that idea. And then maybe like sample organization, but I don't want it to, I can't imagine wanting to use it. Like I don't even use ChatGPT to write emails or anything. You know what I mean? Like that's become the norm for so many of my friends in fashion, but I still write every email. I still like punctuate everything myself. Like I can't imagine using it for anything else other than like organization.
Are you big into film and TV?
Yeah, I love movie. I think this is like how this all started is because I grew up watching so many movies. Like my family loves movies. We used to have this crazy like DVD collection. I wonder where all those went actually. But like one of my first movies I ever watched that like I was mesmerized was Kill Bill, and I was like I don't know what year that came out. I must have been like 10 or 11 or something, and I was just like whoa, like you can do anything. You know, anything is possible. Like you can make something so bright and vivid and emotional and in depth and action packed and funny. It's like there's a way to implement every human emotion and create something so moving and impactful and still have fun doing it. Like stuff like that really like shaped me as an artist and as a creative of like, you know, like like that. Like the clothes are a tool to express a certain visual language in that story that just makes it so much more elevated. Like the yellow jumpsuit or like Lucy Liu's kimono, like covered in blood at the end. Like all these things are just like so lasting in my mind as like, oh God, that was perfect, you know?
So good. No, I mean Kill Bill's classic. God, I need to watch that actually. I haven't watched it in a while.
Yeah. Great
Do
plane
you
movie.
Oh, hello. What film costuming inspires you the most, do you think?
I think like almost all of it. I love like banal stuff. I love when things are really normal and it's just like what was that Paul Mescal movie After Sun where he's on vacation with his daughter. I loved the costuming in that. I love when things are really really normal. I think that's like one of the more difficult things to do as like a stylist or a wardrobe designer. But then obviously things like Fifth Element or Kill Bill or like Tom Ford's movies are always hyper fast and forward. I think everything, like I'm inspired by everything when it comes to movies. I just think it's so interesting. You know what I mean? It's like you get the script, you see the person rehearse, you understand the character, and like that's what they wore. And like even if it's like so drab, it's like, oh, it's great. That's like the perfect nothing little t-shirt, perfect nothing little cargo pant or whatever. Like, oh, that shoe's so like so normal. I love it. Like, I love that you got it at Kohl's. I think that's great.
Shout out Coles, non-spawn. If you could restyle the wardrobe of any character in a film or TV, who would it be?
Oh, God, that's a tough one.
No pressure.
I don't know. I wouldn't say restyle, but maybe like if there was a modern adaptation maybe of something I would be excited to do oh like I would love to do a Charlie's Angels. That'd be so like
Oh,
another Charlie's like no offense
with
to
the
the most recent one.
OGs. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like Cameron, Drew, Lucy, like that shit is so like oof, like so exciting. Like I love it. I love that world of like sex and humor and like elegance and style, like all of that. That would be a dream to do something like
Do you feel like stylists are given enough credit?
no, I don't. Point
Me
blank.
either.
Yeah, I think it's a tough. I think it's tough. Honestly, I think it's a really like right now I'm coming out of a really sensitive time where I didn't feel appreciated enough and I didn't feel like my work was being translated into something that was recognized for the effort I put in. And I think it's not the first time this has happened to me. You know what I mean? I think like it's really easy for a pop star to be self-centered and just think about their goal. Like understandably so. I say this with all love to all my clients. Like not, I don't look at anybody in a poor or distasteful manner. I more so am just like, damn, you really just couldn't like think to stand up for me in that moment. You know what I mean? Or you couldn't just like shout out that I like made this silhouette for you and now it's like taking over the world. You know, like it's these things that I'm like it does get a little like always a bridesmaid, never the bride, but I think you have to be okay with that unless you're not trying to live in that lane. Like I think like a Law Roach or Brett Allen Nelson, like those people who are celebrity stylists but also have such a big image on their own and have such a big presence. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. Like I really do. I'm not even trying to be shady. Like they work so hard to create these girls into what they are. They should be as loud and in your face and as like I'm the shit as they are. Even if it's not my taste, even if I'm a quieter artist in that sense, like I do respect the fact that like no, I did that and like you guys are gonna know that I did that, you know? Because I do think like a lot of creativity comes from styling, a lot of the vibe, a lot of the mood board, a lot of that comes from styling. And I just think more often than not, it gets all pushed to, oh, incredible that you thought of that for the client, you know?
No, I completely agree. Um, Respect your stylists, people. Respect your stylists. You'd be
Yes.
nowhere without them. If you could wave a wand and change one thing about how fashion and celebrity interact, what would it be?
I think I just think they should have fun. You know what I mean? Like you're playing dress up for a living, like you should just be fun. Instead, it's so tortured, it's so drawn out, everything is overthought, everything is like, oh, but they wore that like 6 months ago. It's like, who gives a shit? Like, who fucking cares? Just wear it if you like it. Like, go have fun. Think of all the times when we were growing up and it's like, they were wearing the same dress. Like, all those lists, all the tabloid lists, it's like, who wore it best? And it's like, that's fun, whatever. Who cares? Like, yeah, it's a great dress. Somebody else should wear it. There can't just be one person who wears this piece in the whole world for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? I really think people have to loosen up a lot. Like, I think people there's no, in my recent experience, there's just no fun with fashion. Everything is like really tortured to the nth degree to where it's like, okay, I don't even know if this is good, but let's go.
No, exactly. I mean, personally, I miss the days of. I kind of wish that we'd go back to a day where people just went in their clothes on a red carpet, like
Yeah,
OG
like
90s, like jeans and a
exactly.
t-shirt.
Yeah.
Great.
Like Sarah Jessica Parker, like who gives a shit? I showed up. I'm gonna watch the movie. You're going to watch a movie. You know what I mean? It does not have to always be a ball gown. It doesn't always have to be custom Ludovic, whatever. Like I think like there is a world where it's just like, just be chill, just relax. Like, if you're gonna do this for the rest of your life, not every single day needs to be the Met Gala.
And if you had all that time to focus on like maybe then you could create bigger moments and it wouldn't feel so. And also, I think when everything is so big, when there's a million big moments, whether it's, oh, let's get this fit off an Instagram pic or the Met Gala or the show, it's like, what makes a big moment if
Yeah.
everything's a big
If
moment?
everything's a big moment, what's the big moment? It's just like you're constantly just like being a peacock. When, if I were a pop star, I would want my looks and my fashion to just complement my artistry and like music. Like I wouldn't want to overshadow or be the thing that people are like so obsessed with. Like that it doesn't really matter what I say or do in terms of my music, that it's like, oh, but we love that look that you did. It's like, okay, great. That was kind of just like meant to be cool for that moment. I don't think it should define my whole career. I would love if this album defined my career because I put my heart and soul in it. I just thought that was a cool thing to wear? And I think like that is something that is just constantly happening. It's like in Drag Race when someone's a look queen, you know what I mean? Like, like
Which
it's
is a
they don't
read,
have
you know.
kinda, yeah, but it's like it's yeah, that would be my greatest fear as a pop star is to be a look queen?
Yeah, no, same. It's like, put it in the art, baby.
hmm
Okay, well, let's do some quick fire questions for some fun. I hope you're prepared.
Maybe, I don't know.
What is your favorite red carpet look of all time?
All time. Oh, that is tough. I'm not prepared. I don't know. God. Oof. I'm sure something from the 90s. I'm sure something so stupid. Uh, I'm gonna have to look it up. I don't know. I'm
Ah,
blanking.
no pressure. Or even like your favorite, what's your favorite designer of all time?
Also, oh, of all time, I mean, that's also, I mean, I think Alaya. Alaya is my favorite designer of all time. I think there's a real, I think the essence of what I strive for lives in that world of like expensive, luxury, chic, but still slutty if you want to be slutty. Your nipples can still be out if they want to be out. You can still be super scandalous, but like it's refined in such an intellectual way that it's like no one's gonna say it's vulgar. No one's gonna say that you look like trash because you're in Alaya. It's like so thought out. It's so meticulous. Like vintage Alaya is like, oh, there's a dream. Actually, that's maybe my favorite red carpet moment is there's one of them, Daria Warburton wore an Elia dress. I forget if it was to the Met Gala or something. It's with all these like sheer panels and cutouts, and it's like, oof, it's divine. But I think like in today's world, if I brought it to like unless you have a really good understanding of fashion, like I think a normal client would be like, it's so boring, who cares? But it's for me, it's heaven. So yeah, I think Elia is like my favorite designer of all time for sure.
I mean, Love Alaya, classic. What's your least favorite trend that won't die?
You see which one that won't die? Influencers. Uh, Influencers for
Period.
sure. No, but in terms of clothes, no, I can respect anything, even if it's not for me, even if it's something that I wouldn't do, like flats. I hate a flat for a girl, but I think it's cool if a girl like, says it with her chest, with flats, whatever. God, I'm trying to think of something specific that I really don't fuck with. I don't know. I'm open. I'm pretty flexible. I really respect like fashion as a whole. So I think as long as you believe in it and you think it's cool, then I believe
Totally. No, I completely agree. What is a styling item you're obsessed with right now?
it. I think just coming off of the title of it all, I'm obsessed with tank tops, like a ribbed white tank top. I mean, not PC, but a wife beater. Just because you can cut it into so many different things, it can transform. And it's always gonna look good, no matter what. It's gonna look fab, no matter what iteration you do. So I do think like one of the best inventions in the world is like a ribbed wife beater, or a ribbed tank. Because it can turn into anything. It can turn into a dress. It can turn into a crop top. It can turn into, yeah, I think that is like my favorite item of clothing, kind of.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm literally wearing one right now underneath here. Classic's a
Yeah.
classic for a reason, baby.
hmm
What is who is a dream client that you haven't styled yet? Dead or alive?
I'd love to do Gaga just for once, just because I'm a huge little monster and she's inspired so much of my tenacity and like drive to keep doing this. Um, Actually, one of the first jobs I ever did with Kareen was the Tom Ford Lady Gaga video, where she sang that cover of Chic, I Want Your Love.
I want your love. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
So I used to work at Ford Models, and we had a model in that. Kayla.
Oh my God. Oh my God, yeah, 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 I remember Kayla.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy shoot. That was a crazy first big shoot to be on. And I remember she and her dancer, did this move where she hangs off of his arms upside down and spins in a circle, and everyone was just like, people were like crying, they were so moved. And it was my job to get her tequila ginger ale, and so I started drinking tequila ginger ale. So just like, and then she looked me in the eye one time when I was handing it to her, and I was like, I like was gobsmacked. I was like, "Oh my God, like this is what pure artistry looks like. This is like this that feeling of just like freedom is like what I'm always chasing. And freedom and professionalism and tenacity and like adaptability and like down to clown, down to do whatever. Like I love that. That is like so yeah, one day I would love to style her for something. Just I don't want to do her whole life because I can't handle that and like God bless her and all the looks that she does, but like I'd love to style her for a shoot one day because that would be like a huge full circle moment for me.
Totally. Well, I see it for you. I'm
Thanks.
manifesting for you. And on Lady Gaga's also. I've had the pleasure of meeting her too via Kayla actually.
Oh, really?
At I want to say it was a V magazine party at the
Sure.
Rainbow Room.
Yeah.
And Kayla introduced us, and she was so sweet. Like for
Of
someone
course.
of that stature to like, she like parted the room, came up to Kayla, and like Kayla introduced me, and she shook my hand and get like looked me in the eye. She's just very
Eye contact. She's super into eye contact.
yeah, and that star power is just like you can feel it, like it radiates
Yeah.
off of
Oh, it
her.
literally radiates. It's like the sun. It's like so inspiring to me. I like that is the type of artistry I think that we are missing in this younger generation of just like so sure of yourself, so confident. It doesn't matter if you're wearing a fucking potato sack or the hottest dress in the world. Like it's in you. I think everyone should just look at just the essence of how she approaches everything as like an inspiration of how to have a career forever.
Totally. Um, Go to airport outfit. Are you a look queen or are you a cozy
Not a
queen?
look queen. I'm a cozy queen. I get red a lot because I wear shorts because I run hot. So I'm always in like basketball shorts and like a hoodie. And so the car service I use, my agency uses, they're always like, I can always find you because you're the only guy in shorts. And I'm like, well, yeah, I get hot. So yeah, I look like a teenage boy who just left like soccer practice or something.
Oh my God. Well, if you run hot, babe, you run hot. There's no shame in that, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you, this is like kind of less fun, I guess, but what do you hope people feel when they see a look you've styled?
I hope they feel confident. I hope they feel like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. I would have never thought to do that, and I love how simple it is, and I love how comfortable she looks. I hope it's not, I hope it's never too difficult to understand at first glance. I really love a simplicity to my looks that is really digestible for the mass media and for like insiders alike. Um, yeah, I really hope there's just like a sense of harmony when people see my looks and a sense of like tailoring is good, the hem hits the floor the right way, the shoe is good. You know, I want everything to be in balance with each other. So I hope when people see my work that they see some kind of peace, like, you know, some enlightened sense of centeredness when it comes to my work.
Beautiful. What is one fashion rule you love to break?
All of them, I think. Yeah, I think every single one. I think like fashion is instinctually meant to be broken in terms of rules. And I think I learned that from Kareen too. It's like shooting advertisers, like I said earlier, it's like, well, let's put the jacket inside out and upside down. You know what I mean? Then it looks cool. And then it's like, then we get the credits still. And then like maybe the advertiser's not so happy, but we get to say that we shot it and whatever. You know, I think you can do like I think I always say this in fittings is like no matter what, this is all just fabric and fabric can be manipulated. So like whatever it looks like right now, it can change based off what we do to it. So, you know, I think the rule of breaking a garment and deconstructing it into something else is kind of my go-to fashion breaking rule. Yeah, I think that's also something that is specifically very uniquely me is like I ride this fine line between celebrity stylist and editorial stylist, and it's always been kind of a tug of war for me personally to like know which side I actually live on. Um, and I think that's why I look up to Mel so much, because Mel Ottenberg, because he kind of navigates
Love
that same
Mel.
path. Yeah, he's in that celeb world and he's also in that editorial world, and I think like I really try to echo his career in terms of like being able to do all of it and still be yourself and remain yourself and still have that grit and like edge. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to work on more editorials that speak to me artistically, and I'm excited to work with people who understand me. Yeah, that really like understand what I bring to the table and like hopefully like we just build each other up.
That's beautiful. Well, I hope the best for you, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. It's been so enlightening, and I feel like I've been out of the styling world for so long, I kind of forget what it is, but or what it's like nowadays. But talking to you has really um, renewed my passion, I guess, for wanting more for you guys, wanting the best for you guys, and just wanting
Thank
more
you.
out of the looks we're getting, you know?
Thank you.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it'll be fun. And yeah, I'm excited to see what you do next and
Thank you. Thanks for
keep
having me.
doing what
Thanks
you're
for thinking
doing.
of me. Thank
No, of
you.
course. Thank you. Is there anything else you want to say before we end the chat?
Um, Just be nice, nice on the internet. Be nice to people. Everyone works so hard. If somebody, actually, this is what I always say to Ashley as well. It's like nobody has any idea how hard it is to do anything. Like it's so hard to put music out. It's so hard to put a music video out. It's so hard to put a photo shoot out. Like be nice to people. Like there's so much effort put into everything. Just remember that before you start tearing people down because like it is really, really difficult to be a creative in this world and actually produce content that you're proud of and it's so easy to break apart, but just respect people's efforts. Even if you don't like it, just respect that they did it. Respect that they took a chance.
Period.